Is marriage really for poor people?
Thank you, Aunt March, for your employment and your many kindnesses, but I intend to make my own way in the world.
Oh, well, no one makes their own way. Not really. Least of all a woman. You'll need to marry well.
You are not married, Aunt March.
Well, that's because I'm rich. And I made sure to keep hold of my money, unlike your father.
Marriage is for old people and poor people.
Okay, so let's get into that. Why?
Because when you broke, our parents, like my moms and all them, they married on a merit of like, okay, we're going to put our incomes together, have all these kids. And then when our kids, we're going to have 5, 10 kids back in the 60s, all them, they're going to have 5, 10 kids so they can work and bring income.
Yeah.
So you poor. So you married for that. And now when you get old, somebody that to be by your side to take care of you. Right now, my mom got married. My mom never been married in my lifetime. She got married when she was 70.
Wow.
It was perfect. She had somebody by her side the whole way through.
So do you...
I really believe that. Like, that's what, like, outside of that, it's no advantage to a man. Why is marriage an advantage? What advantage, what does it do for a man when things go south? Like, we gonna have to give up half our this, pay child support, but it's only advantageous to a woman. Like, it's real talk.
But what if you meet a woman and you're like, wow, she's a gem, she's valuable, she's everything, and I want to lock her down in marriage?
I don't want to lock no woman down. We could be cool.
So I don't agree with everything Mr. Paul Pierce says in this video, but he brings up some great talking points that are worth considering and discussing, contemplating from a Christian perspective. So when he says marriage is for poor people, I want to first focus on that word poor or poverty, because I personally think poverty is a mindset. You can have $1 billion but still have a poor attitude, a poor spirit, be bankrupt in integrity and morality and in your relationship with the Lord. And Mark 8:36 says, what profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Proverbs 13:11 in let's do the NLT says, wealth from get rich quick schemes quickly disappears, but wealth from hard work grows over time. We don't know where these wealthy people or these people that make a lot of money, these rich or wealthy folks, we don't know what they did to make that money. They could have done some crazy things to get that money, or as they say, some strange things to get that change. Yeah, all these people living in these big fancy houses, driving these really nice cars. Once again, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't know who they screwed over or what they had to do to... You got Aaron? Yep. Thank you. To earn all that money. Yeah, Matthew 19:24 says, again, I tell you, we'll do the NLT. I'll say it again. It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter the kingdom of God. I love what Paul said most here, where he says, I know how to live on almost nothing or with everything. I have learned the secret of living in every situation, whether it is with a full stomach or empty, with plenty or little. So I'm going to do one more verse. This is actually Matthew 5:3. It's part of the Beatitude. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. If you want to say marriage is for poor people in both a financial sense, like in the story of Ruth and Boaz, yeah, Ruth and her mother-in-law, Naomi, were the poor people, or the indigent people, as my grandpa would say. Yeah, in this situation, they were the poor ones that needed Boaz. And apparently Boaz was, and a lot of people think 80 years old. This backs up Paul Pierce's point on, marriage being for old people and poor people, because according to Jewish tradition, they believe Boaz was 80 years old. Yeah, and Ruth was 40 years old. That's why he made that comment. Let me see if I can go find it. Yeah, right in about verse 10 in Ruth chapter 3, he says, for you have not gone after young men, whether poor or rich. basically, the way I read that is you could have gone after any other man who was younger than me and was made more money than me or was more attractive, and just, yeah, even if you was poor or rich, you chose me, even though I'm 80 years old and you're 40 years younger. Some Bill Belichick stuff going on. So back then, they didn't have Social Security, Medicare, all of these nursing homes. Your kids were your Social Security. Your kids were your pension plan. You would have a bunch of kids. Like my grandfather had 10 kids. My other great-grandfather had 7 kids. You had a lot of kids so they could take care of you in your old age. And so that was the biggest benefit of getting married back then. And of course, they didn't also have child support and alimony. So, yeah, women would just stay with that dude no matter how much of a scumbag he was. So, I'm not condoning women just staying in relationships no matter what. That's a whole nother discussion I'll save for another video. Yeah, as it says here, married couples make $146,000 per year on average, versus a single individual makes $56,000. You basically, it's just simple math. You bring, if you don't have kids yet, double income, no kids, also referred to as dinks, or your kids are out of diapers. Y'all can both work. Having 2 incomes and sharing expenses and all the tax incentives that are there for married couples of kids. Yeah. And then just also the, some guys, if you're with a woman that you actually enjoy being with and y'all enjoy each other's company, that's also a plus. It can add to you so you don't feel like a poor man, a poor in spirit man. But at the end of the day, I always go to John chapter 4, the woman at the well, when Jesus said, "You drink from me, you'll never be thirsty." There's something about realizing, or blessed are those who are poor in spirit. So marriage really is, in my opinion, for poor people, 2 people that are poor in spirit and realize that you are nothing without God, and that He is your source, not just financially, but also spiritually. So I would love to know in the comments, is marriage for poor people? Let me know based on your own personal experience, and what are your thoughts on this video of what Paul Pierce had to say.
Adam could never be black, cause a black man never shares red. I got money on my